this is a wonderful time for me to make a video so no one sees who I am. So I wanted to get some opinions out there. I'm one of those people that can sit at a round table and say nothing about the candidates running for office or running for, you name it, multitude of positions within the federal government. And usually when somebody does, people who invest their time, their life into this, I applaud. Period. But the one thing I don't agree with is the hatred that President Trump has been bringing on about to my race, period. And I still feel like I'm using voice to text, but I'm not. So sorry, comma. I'll stop with the sayings. But 2 instances in the last month, we should say. Last week, I was at the local Target. Anyone who lives in Lakewood, Colorado, or Denver, Colorado, knows that there's this huge outside mall with multiple shops to go to, and there's a hotel right there, and then right next to the hotel is a Target. So I go to Target one day like I have so many times before, and the vacuum that I wanted, it was pushed out to the side and back because I was looking for the Animal 2 Dyson vacuum, and it goes for, I think, $5.99 or so. But I was just gonna put it on my red card and just make the payments as needed. But when I went to go grab the vacuum from the very back of the vacuums in display, I ended up somehow disengaging the spider wrap, which is the little black corded, safety device that goes off. And that's when I thought, oh crap, I had a set of markers, and that was it. So I'm waiting there waving my hands, nobody acknowledges anything. So I go up to the customer service desk and I ask, if I were to purchase this item tonight, how long do I have to take it back? It was much, much different than electronics. And the girl politely told me, I think it's up to 50 days, or one of her coworkers agreed. And then out of nowhere comes this lady who is just dressed normally and starts to ask me if I was planning on returning that. And dumbfounded, I looked at her and I'm like, no. I'm asking her questions about the product. Why would I need to steal it? And she turned around and walked away. Pushing the cart along and having that vacuum in there, I just start getting more and more hurt by being a sense of someone else's prejudice. So I just put the cart wherever. I was like, let them deal with it, I'm not. Besides, the way the cart, I don't know why I was gonna say that. The way the Target is built, it's actually on a second level where the bottom level is like, uh, I guess like a parking zone level. Um, and whenever you're taking items through your cart, you put through the escalator that has the hooks to ensure your items don't drop out. And what I had came to realize was, and I've been there hundreds of times, so this is just me knowing, um, vacuum, even tilted to its side will not clear the threshold, which is where they allow it to curve up top. And the only way one person can take it is by hand, having to pass, first off, uh, any customer service reps, any of the individuals watching over uh, the sales of do-it-yourself, a multitude of employees, which I don't even know, don't care if they're secret shoppers or not. So when she asked that question, it automated me. It automate. I can't even say that word. Automatically make me feel ashamed. So as I'm going down the stairs, I see 3 cops. Period. Now, here in Colorado, this has to be the most prejudice against all the counties of Colorado. And I don't ever play that race card. I think it's crap that companies have a so-called rating system in which they need a higher percentage of their employees black or Hispanic, even though they may not be the best qualified for the position, but just so they could fall under the guidelines of the federal government. And me being Hispanic, and I often make fun of myself, and my friends would back in the day call me Big Beaner or something like that, but they never had any bad intentions behind what they were saying. So where I left off was I just pushed the car down any aisle and just feeling sick to my stomach. See the cops standing there, and of course they know who I am. I mean, I'm the only individual in that store that's probably 6'5", 225 pounds, a dark complected Hispanic. And so, oh yeah, also wearing a gray hoodie. So they immediately noticed me. They searched me. Of course I'm not gonna steal anything. I used to work AP and security, making sure that all the items we have were available. Now, when this cops were there, and as they started searching, I learned long ago that you just be polite to the cops and they're just doing their jobs. And the reason why I learned that was because of an ambient incident. But, they were really friendly, described to me very well her concerns. But they don't really, they really can't do nothing if the lady tells me I'm suspended. Either way, I'm SOL. And what I mean by that is I am banned from going to that particular Target for the next year. I immediately told the cop, what about, any of my purchases that I have made? Maybe not on this night, but the night before after that. And he said, oh, they'll go through. Since you could work, or not work, but since you could go visit another Target. during that time where the cops are at, where the cops have me, is an in and out of people coming in, people leaving, and it's just so goddamn just embarrassing. Um, any negative word that you could think of, I mean, I just felt like crap. That these people are looking at me and forming an opinion in their mind that's already being screwed in by President Trump. Now, I don't claim to know anything about politics because I don't. I always thought the popular vote was more important than electoral vote. And so then I really was even more at a loss. For you guys that are conservative, I'm sorry, I'm not saying this to rile you up or to say he's a bad president, but for more liberals, he has done some pretty stupid things. But most of all, it seems like he's brought out the worst in people. And so back to the vacuum. I grabbed the vacuum by the spider wrap and it just comes off. I put the vacuum in the cart and I'm just kind of like waiting there, waving my arms around because there's every camera in every corner of that store. That is just unbelievable. And so, as I made my way to customer service, she knew exactly where I was and had been following me, profiling me the entire time. And I can say with the utmost of certainty, I was the only Hispanic or only non-Caucasian in the store that night, unless their workers were, which I really didn't have much time to pay attention to. But I told her, "Are you insinuating that I'm stealing?" And I said, "I'm going to look pretty stupid trying to, run down the escalator with the vacuum in my hand. It's not going to happen. I'm not a thief. Look at my record, look at all the stuff that I've done. You don't have to treat me differently than you would anyone else." And so she gave the cop this piece of pink paper and told him if I could be banned from those grounds, even parking from those grounds, I would basically have charges put on me. And so now I'm shit out of luck going to visit Target. Period. I gotta stop that. I used to love going to Target just to look around, seeing what they have new, as they much more organized than any Walmart. And it happened to be across the street from a Whole Foods, which I had a shop at. And this lady automatically presuming that, hey, look, there's a big Hispanic, that's gonna try to get, reward points by trying to return a vacuum that doesn't belong to him. I handed the spider wrap and everything else. I put it on the customer service, and again, going down the stairs, I thought to myself, and the cops even laughed when I said I would look pretty stupid running down the stairs with the goddamn vacuum. Period. It's not a matter about purchasing the vacuum, I could afford it. But why am I going to shop here now at any of your Targets when somebody was profiling me? Immediately he said, "Well, I don't think they're profiling you, I think," and I said, "I'm sorry, officer, I don't mean to cut you off." I'm like, "But absolutely they're profiling me." I said, "Walk in my shoes one day and see how much different that is compared to what you've been through. I said it's difficult for people like me that happen to make good money, that happen to have a great job, and when I go out, I'm just in sweats and a t-shirt half the time. But like I said, my family has a lot, I mean a lot of wealth, but I'm not going to be calling upon my mom to save me or help me or lend me money. This is money from my paycheck. And as the cop said, she probably wasn't profiling you. I said, how does she know that I came up here with the cart? How does she know that I should reiterate that? Because these are the cops speaking, but he said, how would she go to customer service when I'm asking her a couple questions that if I bought this with my red card, how long would it be before I get it back? And he said, I don't think she was profiling you. She was, and like I said, I cut him off politely and I said sorry. I was like, but of course she was, definitely profiling me. How would she know that I was headed towards customer service unless she was a undercover shopper? And I told each and every one of the officers there, search me. I said, first off, I have nothing pokey that's gonna, get to you. Secondly, I don't have anything to me. And sure enough, they couldn't find anything. And one of the three officers even said this was somewhat a waste of their time, that this lady would even call the cops on you when you haven't taken anything, you haven't done anything of the above. And so I walk out of there with a banned slip, and they tell me, you're lucky they didn't press charges. For what? What did I do for them to even press charges? That's the kind of shit that I'm dealing with day in and day out. The second and the worst of the situation was when I went to a book store, a comic book store called I Want More Comics. And I'm a comic book collector for the monetarily value I could bring out of these comics. But I don't know anything about the storylines or plots. As I'm sitting there, going through their back issues, I have this app on my phone where I could automatically scan the book and find out if I have it or not, what the price is at the moment, if it's expected to go higher or lower, so on and so forth. And immediately there's one person to the cash register, 40 or so young Caucasian kids off to my right and his left, which could easily have led to one of those kids grabbing, or those young men grabbing the cash register and leaving it if they want to. And I told him, I said, being a comic book collector for as long as I have, I'm very cognizant of how to handle the books and not allow it to ruin the book. As one of my very, very expensive books, I wasn't paying attention like a dumbass, and once that tape sticks to the book, regardless if it's the weakest tape or not, these older, fragile books are definitely gonna come along with the tape. So I'm sitting there, and essentially I'm on all fours taking a picture of some of the books, and the guy immediately stops me. What are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm just, taking pictures to see if I have this one or not. I'm trying to be more organized with my collection. He's like, you should really be on the watch out for how you handle those. And I'm always a light-hearted, nice guy, trying to make things go well, but he was already pissed. He didn't have any words to fathom, so I thought, okay, end of story. He told me don't take pictures of them, so I don't. So I come across a book, which was it was a Deadpool book, and I can't remember which one, but their alphabetical system that they have there, it's a little off. So I figured, well, they probably have their employees, because it's not a small shop, it's a big shop where somebody has delegated a lot of responsibilities to go through those and find anything at a place. As I take a few steps towards the cash register to buy the dividers, he really rudely says, excuse me. I turned around, I'm like, yeah. He's like, what the fuck is the meaning of this? And I tell him, I'm sorry, I'm not understanding where you're getting at. He said, why did you fucking put this in the back of the wrong place? I said, well, I apologize for doing that. That's only my third time in this store, and I thought it'd be much better than having all these books all over the place, which don't belong in the section anyways. And he says, you know what, I don't want to deal with your fucking bullshit, even though, again, I did not have anything on my persons. I did not steal anything. I did not, in fact, I had arranged with one of the, either he was a supervisor or a owner or whoever it was, about purchasing some of the books that I have. And, this guy comes out and says, do you want me to call the police on you? I said, for what? What did I do? He said, oh, I could get you for trespassing. I just shook my head, and as he was walking away, I could hear him say, you fucking stupid wetback. And that just, talking about wanting to go off on somebody is just, it was horrible. And so I left, never to return. And now these two incidences occur. This has not happened to me at all. Even going to a private school, top 5 in academics, I was around nothing but Caucasian people. And yeah, at first I was in for a culture shock, but they were the nicest, sweetest people, and they helped me out in so many ways. And like I said, I don't play that race card bullshit that all the guys are, easy and ready to throw that shit off. But I took the slip and left. And I was just, like I said, embarrassed beyond belief. What if my ex-wife walked in the store, or somebody I knew from church? I would have been embarrassed beyond belief. And she essentially suspended me from the store. And I really think President Trump is bringing out the hatred in people. So, if you're a minority, definitely be cautious when it comes to purchasing an item from a store like Target.